So I think what today I think we're going to talk about is that's what our show's all about. We're going to talk about shit.
Yeah, shit.
And I think today let's lead with mapping. Is that cool with you?
What is mapping? What do you mean mapping? Ooh, we going on a trip.
So mapping to me is when you have kind of this picture perfect life, right?
Oh.
Perfect husband, 2 babies, everybody's getting A's in school, the house is clean, you're like baking cookies.
Yeah, if you cheat.
And when that doesn't happen and how we can really suffer in it. So for me, I always say, how do we change that map? How do we change that place? And I think what you said was perfect. It's how to be really present now and knowing that you shouldn't be comparing yourself to everybody else. Like, we're all so beautiful and unique in our own ways. Let's start celebrating that. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Those bitches that are all perfect and all that,
They ain't perfect. They ain't perfect. Trust me. They lying. They are not perfect.
Yeah. So what would you say is like a couple of resources that you've had like in your past, right? When you had those moments, because that was pretty terrible, right? Men you love.
Yeah.
2 babies.
Yeah.
Crazy. What do you think was like one thing that someone that is listening now and they're on their computer going, what the fuck is up with these 2 chicks?
Yeah.
Can say, what do I do? Like anything?
Well, for me, I went through a lot, like anxiety, and I'm still going through anxiety. So, and once again, I just spoke to the anxiety disorder clinic. I have an appointment coming up next week, and for cognitive behavior, because I mean, so mental illness is there, and sometimes it's triggered by post-traumatic stress, and sometimes it's a chemical imbalance.
For sure.
And not everybody is all about taking medication and that, because I don't do meds, but the cognitive behavioral helped me get through, helped me get through a lot of the stuff that I was going through. Like, and honestly, if it wasn't for that, and it's not for my friends, like my friends are great, they were there to an extent because they have their own life. My family, again, there to an extent, but I'm not going to open up to my family like I would open up to friends, and I'm not going to open up to my friends like I would to the cognitive, to the behavioral thing. Yeah, exactly. So to me, it's all about knowing whatever you're going through, get help. Like, you know what I mean?
Reach out to the right resources. And I think that's really important right now on social media, and there's a lot of great tools.
Yeah.
But I think people are experts in their field. That's where you need to go.
Yeah.
You need to get the help from the people that can guide you.
And with
right?
my map, I mean, me, I always wanted kids. I wanted that white picket fence. I wanted a perfect marriage and this and that. And then, you know, it went from like being this to I've never been married. I'm 50. I've never even lived with a guy, yet I got 2 kids. Figure that one out. You know, so
I was gonna say something inappropriate.
Go ahead, say it.
No, I was gonna be like, they're gonna be like, these guys are hoes. That's why you guys.
I'm a hoe, and so
I
make
swallow.
It work. No,
we're cutting it out.
No, we're not.
We're cutting it out.
No, we're not.
Absolutely. All right, so. She don't got no gag reflex. It's different.
It is. Like you said, we're going to talk about shit.
That's right. Yeah, so I think definitely getting the resources of where you are. For me, I think the one thing that really helped in my situation, same shit, my picket fence, PTA mom, thought everything was perfect, wasn't perfect, is ownership. I started to really understand, man, I could not keep looking for anybody to save me. They weren't coming. I was waiting, but nobody was showing up. So I was like, at some point, I was like, what the fuck do I want?
Yeah, you're waiting for that knight in shining armor, but they're all fools wrapped in tin foil,
it was not working. So I think for me, once I started owning myself and understanding I wasn't a fucking tree, I could move, I wasn't stuck in shit, that I could really take control of it.
I've stepped in shit a couple times, but you know, I didn't get stuck.
And I think though, when you get stuck in shit, it is how you come out of it.
Yeah.
Like that's like this bullshit that fucking every day's rainbows and butterflies, lie.
Yeah.
Straight up fucking lie.
Yeah, lie.
It's about finding it okay to be not okay, and then finding it on the other side of getting the fuck through it. Like, you gotta go through it, man. You can't mask that shit up. You gotta be able to like sit and be silent and take the punches so you can ultimately walk through the other side.
Yeah.
So I think that
and no matter what you go through, it's not the end of the world, unless it is the end of the world, unless you're dead.
And
you know
everything
what I mean?
else beyond that,
yeah, it's
fix it.
Yeah, fix it.
Fix it.
It's
Yeah.
fix it. Everything is fixable.
Yeah, I think like that start. You just got to start. So maybe for today, I don't know, do you want to do like, I don't know, maybe just sit down and write down where you are and what's something you would change. Make small little changes. I think sometimes people see the end goal. Big house, kids, everything's perfect.
Listen, I ain't got big. I live in government housing, like Section 8. Like
still,
no.
still well though.
But it's
still
nice.
strong.
I decorate it nice.
It
you
is
know
really
what I mean?
nice. Your
Yeah.
house is really pretty. But like I think it's like sometimes
Secondhand shit.
Oh yeah, we'll have to do a whole series on this shit because it's a fucking thing. But I think like when you really get that at the end of the day, seeing the end product isn't always that easy. Like there's many a times where there was, how do you get your hydro at times? What happens?
Yeah, so my hydro for Americans, electricity, has been cut off a few times, and yeah, I've had to become very
creative. With the neighbors.
Yeah, with the neighbors. So I would get a long extension cord, like an outdoor extension cord. This is when I lived in my townhouse. When I lived in the apartment, so the whole building has hydro. So all you got to do is just run an electric cord underneath your door and plug it into the outlet in the hallway, because they got to have outlets in the hallway. So I would do it like that at nighttime when I knew the landlord was sleeping, or when my neighbors were sleeping, and I would plug it into their place, get an electric frying pan and a little TV and a small little like one of those little night lights. Bam, I'm good for the night. You know, I'll sleep all day and do what I got to do at nighttime, cooking everything at night on the electric frying pan through other people's hydro.
To me,
Whatever.
when I break that down, and that's why I love Cindy so much, is because in like business world, we call that grit. You find a way no matter what. You're like water, right? At the end of the day, man, her baby's got to eat. You got to find a way to do it. And you just ultimately, if you know what your anchor is and what you want, you're going to find a way.
Yeah.
So I think people that have that high resistance of grit ultimately survive because they know what their purpose is, right? And your baby's needed food.
Yeah, exactly. So get electric, and I didn't even have to buy the electric frying pan. You just borrow it. Like, how many old people have that? Like, you know what I mean?
Why are the fucking old people big? You love
Because
them.
I do. Because they have everything. They're hoarders. Old people are hoarders. They have everything.
So I think with us, cool. We'll say that map your own map. So figure out what it is you actually want in your life. Don't try to live up to anybody else, man.
And
You're gonna fail.
And even if you want, like, set high bars and this and that, but even if you want your life to be a certain way and it's not that way, try to figure out,
find peace
of what you have, and find happiness of what you actually have and what you can work with.
Live in the now, man.
Yeah.
Live in the now.
Yeah.
All right.